everybody. Happy Wednesday at 1 o'clock. It's time for Ask Amy when we're going to talk about some fun real estate topics throughout the week. Today, I thought I would talk about some success stories that I've had recently that have been heavily influenced by staging. I'm going to show you some great examples of actual staging where they bring furniture into a home and virtual staging where I send photos out to a graphic artist to drop furniture onto the image and then put out photographs in the house on easels so that people can see what the room would look like if it was staged. So let me get started with the first image. This is a dining room in a house here in the Heights that I just listed and sold with multiple offers in the first day. And in this case, we did actually physically stage the property. Now, what I want to say is staging is kind of the fun part. It's like putting the house's makeup on, but you got to do all the basic parts first. You got to make sure the air conditioning is running, that there's no deferred maintenance, that you've got the house cleaner than it's ever been before, that the landscaping looks good, that everything on the home is tip-top ready to show, and then staging is your last piece. So here's what this dining room looks like with, it's beautiful on its own. It's got great hardwood floors, a nice neutral palette, a modern chandelier, some almost floor-to-ceiling windows that let in lots of light. But it's hard to imagine what it's going to look like with furniture in it until you see this. And this is actual furniture that we brought in, and my stager is amazing. She did things like use a glass table so the light really comes through. The table doesn't swallow up light in that dining room. She did things like put a silk plant in front of the window, which I'll use my cursor, you can see over here, which casts really nice shadows and adds just a sense of fresh greenery to the room. I love these orange pops of color that she did that added such visual interest. So your eye is drawn all the way to the far wall. And then clever things like here, she has put a table that is perfect for where you might imagine you would drop your keys or your purse or your mail. And she's put out a little bowl here that I can't tell you how many times I've used to drop the keys myself. So it really just adds, with a minimalistic but beautiful state of mind, how this house could look furnished in its best possible environment. So let me show you another kind of challenge we faced. And this is really, there are two reasons I wanted to have this home staged. This is the first one. And that is, there's this gorgeous upstairs landing with these beautiful hardwood floors. The seller had left these black cabinets that you see, book cabinets that you see along the side here. They are removable, but they were left behind. And then there's this built-in white cabinet at the very end that's also set up as a desk space. And you really kind of don't know what to do with this floor space when you're looking at this. And so I brought in my stager and she did this, which is phenomenal. It shows exactly how much you can use those bookshelves, shows that you can create a little sitting area next to the bookshelves themselves. It shows the desk as an actual desk area with a computer. Again, it's adding a little plant life. It feels fresh. And I just think she did a phenomenal job here. And then clearly so does the market since we had multiple offers. This is the kitchen in the same house. And one of the challenges that we face pre-staging is that the floor is a little dark. The cabinets are a little dark. The window treatments are a little dark. So it was important to bring in bright white colors when actually doing the staging. So as you can see here in the kitchen, the items that were brought in just minimalistically for a little bit of interest are all white. You can see a white little toaster oven back here, white canisters, little pop of white with a plant on the island itself. And of course, there always seems to be a bottle of wine and a couple of glasses. Just gives it that homey, hey, we're going to relax effect here. But let me show you the wow is that we also brought in white sofas and white pops of art on the wall, and then a really light rug color that adds interest and adds all that light and that color, and it transformed this space. And it really kind of gives people, in addition, an idea of what ideas you might have for interior design after you own a home as well. A lot of people use those pictures when they go to decorate their own home later on. This next example, again, is pretty dramatic. It was the upstairs primary bedroom. We had changed the carpet to get that nice and fresh, but it needed scale. It's counterintuitive. When you have an empty room, you think it's smaller. When you have a room with furniture in it, it actually appears larger. So even in some of my less expensive listings, a $100,000 condo or so, I keep air mattresses that I stack on top of each other, make them up like beds, and let that room look a little bigger with something like a bed in it, because it makes a huge difference. But here we've spent the money on furniture staging, and that is just wow. It looks like this in person. It is real furniture. And by putting up some little seating areas here before you get to the patio door, it shows just how much extra space there is. There's a faux flat screen TV on the wall. This is a king size bed, so it shows just how wide the room is. And then if you can see beyond these windows, we've actually staged the little patio outside as well. So you can see that that's an outdoor living space that really ties to the bedroom. So this was just a huge success. Let me show you one of my favorite pieces. This is actually the same house, and I knew my stager would do something brilliant with this kind of little bit wasted space underneath the stairs, because it's so visually interesting. And sure enough, she had the brilliant idea of putting together some little shelves that show where you might keep your shoes, a coat rack, hat and coat rack. Again, more really interesting pops of art, a little bit of flora, and silk plants again, as usual. And it just really shows off this window and the space and the light. Did a phenomenal job. Now, these next images I'm going to show you are where we dropped in fake furniture. So it's called virtual staging. The house actually doesn't have anything brought into it other than the pictures on easels of what it could look like with furniture. So this is a dining room in Oak Forest that I sold after we had it virtually staged. The first image was obviously empty. This is what it looks like with furniture, with a great big dark dining table. And my screen is making it look a little bit darker than it actually did on the listing. It really added some dynamic thoughts to the space. So here's the kitchen, which I think is one of the prettiest kitchens I've ever sold. But even then, adding just a little something made it feel a little less sterile and a little more homey. That's again with it unstaged. And here where we've added a few little bits and pieces. There's the always there, the wine bottle with the wine glasses and some little canisters and whatnot on the cabinets, little basket of apples. And it just, especially when you're looking online, feels a little bit more lived in and homey. And this is another very dramatic image of the fireplace, the beautiful wood floors, but it just doesn't show you how this can be the heart of the home until you have virtual staging like this that has a little fire in the fireplace, the television mounted over the fireplace, some seating, and again, some plants really add to everything there. So last but not least, I believe this is my last image. This is a primary bedroom. Again, it looks kind of small because it doesn't have any furniture in it, and you're just not sure where your furniture is going to go until you see this. And it's staggeringly beautiful and looks so welcoming and yet simplistic, and adds so much dynamic imagery to the photo. And you can see beyond the primary bathroom here is actually the primary closet. And we've even gone to the extent of hanging some some clothing, etc. there. And again, this is not real. When you walk into the house, it's vacant, but it still gives you an idea of what the house can look like staged. So let me emphasize again that this is the last thing you do. You cannot use staging to get around a house that has not been well maintained, that has some deferred maintenance issues. Those things have to be taken care of first. And on a recent listing, I worked with out-of-state clients and spent 2 months getting landscaping done and air conditioning working and the front of the house refinished and all the things you have to do to get a house truly looking perfect and ready. Then you add the staging, and then it can make it a really fantastic success. So I'm happy to have sold both of those homes, one of them most recently in a multiple offer situation, which is always ideal. So if you have questions about staging or any other topic in real estate, you can always call me, text me, send smoke signals to 832-865-2390, or contact me on any of these social media channels. Amy's on the Move on YouTube, Amy on the Clock on Instagram, Amy McGee on LinkedIn, Twitter, Realtor Amy, and my business Facebook group. Please give me a follow there. It's In the Loop with Amy McGee. I try to give you lots of good market updates and tips on managing your home throughout the year there. So thank you again for joining me. I hope you have a great week, and I hope to see you next Wednesday at 1 o'clock.